Let's get it. Okay. We have just so much news that is about to drop. Instead of going game by game today, I'm just going to go over the injury news. I think that's a bit better because if you guys watched my video earlier, you know the general direction on where you should be going. And then I don't want to be caught reading this stuff for like 30 minutes and then waste some time with missing out on the news. But what is going on, guys? What's with Flynn? Is he starting? Your optimizer has Malachi Flynn at 29 fantasy points. Maybe they know something that we don't, because no idea what's going on with that. Hey, good looks, Lakers. Poker chips. Yeah, I should probably not play with that near the mic so much. Such a habit. Okay. Jeez. Joe Flacco to the Jets, huh? Reggie Jackson or Schroeder? It's got to be Reggie Jackson for me. The minutes are wild for that guy. Schroeder's getting the start again, but Jaylen Brown is returning, so the usage won't quite be there like it was with out Jaylen Brown and with Al Horford, which, by the way, Al Horford is out today. And then Reggie Jackson has played 36 and 39 minutes through the first two games. Gets a great matchup against the Portland Trailblazers. I like playing him quite a bit, but let's just go over some of the news real quick and be at the ready for when news drops. Yeah, guys, if you are new here or if this helps you at all, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribing is the absolute best way of supporting me. We will go to the bottom here and start moving up. Okay. We will start with the LaMarcus Aldridge news. Okay, so LaMarcus Aldridge is resting today. Last game, Blake Griffin ended up resting. And, that looks like it opened up some minutes for Bruce Brown, who played 27 minutes last time out. He's a very, very sneaky sub 4K value play if you're trying to fit in a bunch of these studs that are in great spots today on teams that are shorthanded like Giannis and Nikola Jokic and Paul George. All three of those guys are in amazing spots today. And so Bruce Brown in tournaments, if you think that he plays mid-20s minutes again, I think he's definitely viable down there. Nicholas Claxton probably going to grab the start again at center. But Claxton only played 18 minutes last time out, and that was with Blake Griffin out and LaMarcus Aldridge in. So it's a pretty similar situation here. Don't really expect Claxton to play all that much today. DeAndre Hunter is out, and so is Danilo Gallinari for the Atlanta Hawks today. And if you go look at the start or at the rotations, it looks like Cam Reddish has been the direct backup to DeAndre Hunter. I could see him sliding into the starting lineup. I could also see Kevin Huerter, but I think Cam Reddish is the most likely guy right there. He has carried a massive usage rating throughout the season, and he actually closed the game last time out when it was competitive. So I like the likes of Cam Reddish. I think he's a very, very sneaky GPP play today. I wish he was a bit cheaper, but he should grab the start, and I'm assuming without Gallo as well that he plays around 30 minutes today. And he played almost 27 or 28 minutes last time out, and that was with DeAndre Hunter playing. So I do think that Cam Reddish probably gets a start here, and he is in a good position. PJ Washington and Terry Rozier are out today for the Hornets. I'm expecting Mason Plumlee's minutes to become much more secure. Kelly Oubre should grab the start again, and then Cody Martin off the bench should continue to play pretty big minutes. Somewhere around 30 minutes. I think he is a really good value play. One of these safer value plays on this slate. Not much of a bump for Ish Smith. It was a weird rotation last game for the Hornets just because they went on this crazy run against the Nets with the backups, and then they just ended up closing with them, and like LaMelo Ball never even came back into the game. The game was competitive until the fourth quarter happened. So I'm expecting bigger minutes from Kelly Oubre, Mason Plumlee, and Cody Martin. Those are probably the biggest three beneficiaries. I think LaMelo Ball is in a good spot as well, but not really getting to all that much of him today. Bradley Beal is in. Gary Harris is in. Gary Harris kind of takes away minutes from guys like Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, who has been playing pretty big minutes. And then Jaylen Brown is active. Romeo Langford, Al Horford are out. So, Robert Williams, I don't play him when he's playing next to Al Horford. We've seen it already a couple times that Robert Williams is much better when he's the only center out there on the court, and he should do very, very well today at 6,100. I know Michael Porter Jr. is going to be one of the chalkiest players in the 6K range. He's $6,000. I do prefer Robert Williams to him at 6,100, and I think you'll get him at a lot lower ownership than Michael Porter Jr. You can play both of them though, but Robert Williams in a very, very good spot. He projects better on FanDuel because you get 3 points for stocks over there, but he's a lot more expensive than he is on DraftKings. Bobby Portis continues to be out. Drew Holiday is out. So the Bucks are going to be shorthanded again. Giannis Antetokounmpo, go back to last year, nearly 1.8 fantasy points per minute with Drew Holiday off the court. Chris Middleton, about 1.2 fantasy points per minute with Drew Holiday off the court. Both those guys are in great spots, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is entirely too cheap. His price on DraftKings and FanDuel, honestly, are insulting, especially on DraftKings. I think that, I don't know how you don't play Giannis today. And there's going to be a lot more value as we get closer to lock. Kyle Lowry looks like he is going to play as well. Also earlier, it looked like Darius Garland is more likely to be probable than questionable, so he's probably going to play tonight. So takes me off of Ricky Rubio. If you got the over on Ricky Rubio fantasy points at 21, I still like that because game one, even with Garland healthy, he ended up playing 25 minutes. And he is well over a fantasy point per minute, nearly 1.3 fantasy points per minute for a guy like Ricky Rubio, a 47% assist percentage so far this year. Like, he runs that offense completely, and his potential assists each and every game has been incredible. And the Raptors, they are starting Van Fleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, Anunoby, and Precious Achiuwa. Precious Achiuwa, one of my favorite value plays on both sites. And then Anunoby, I'm going to go back to the well with him a lot. And then Barnes, Van Fleet should play big minutes. And then Gary Trent Jr. has actually been playing really, really big minutes since he entered the starting lineup after coming off the bench in game one. And Goran Dragic just really hasn't been playing that much. He's been playing like 13, 14 minutes a game since he's been coming off the bench. So yeah, I slammed his under at like 23 fantasy points on Prize Picks, and I'm feeling really good about that. It moved down to like 19, I believe. But I don't expect that role to really change all that much. I think that they like running this lineup a lot. And then Precious Achiuwa, I was pretty skeptical on his minutes coming into the year, just because Chris Boucher and Ken Birch were healthy. And so with them willing to play Precious next to them at the 4, his minutes are secure. So he was able to avoid foul trouble in a blowout last game, which he wasn't able to do in the first 2 games. And he ended up playing 33 minutes. He's been a 1.13 fantasy point per minute player so far this year, and he's only $4,600. I really like him, but depending on how the news ends up breaking today, really the news that we're waiting for right now is the Nikola Vucevic news. He was a midday downgrade to questionable. I expect him to sit, and if he does sit, we are either going to see Alex Caruso slide into the starting lineup. I guess we could see Javonte Green slide into the starting lineup. And then Patrick Williams slide down to the 5, and then Alex Caruso would get extended minutes off the bench. But if Vucevic misses, I think a lot of people are going to gravitate towards the more expensive guys, which I think is fine on the Bulls. But I think Patrick Williams and Alex Caruso actually get the biggest boost, especially if Patrick Williams is going to play extended minutes at the 5 rather than the 4, where he's a much better fantasy producer. And then Elias Johnson off the bench, I'm expecting him to get some burn here against an undersized Toronto team. All their centers are pretty undersized. Precious is undersized, and Elias Johnson is the minimum price. He could get the start. I'm not expecting that, but if that did happen, I mean, he would be an absolute lock for me. But coming off the bench, I still think he is viable at the bare minimum. Again, if you guys can try to fit in like Giannis, Paul George, and Jokic, which I definitely think is possible today, I don't mind doing that. It just really depends on how the news ends up breaking. But more times than not, I think you should be playing at least 2 of these guys, one of them being Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know James Harden's going to be very, very popular today because he is 9,500. But I do think that the role has kind of changed because, man, he just cannot get to the line anymore with the new rules. Okay, that's just the Wizards starting lineup is as normal. But yeah, so since he can't get to the line as much, I mean, he's really, really struggling right now. So I think eventually he'll figure it out. But as of right now, I mean, with him being that high owned, if he's going to continue to struggle like that, I'm fine with going away from James Harden, especially if he's going to be that highly owned. And then Paul George, man, he's going to go under owned again for the 3rd straight slate. We play him every day and we keep winning because we keep playing him. His rates are absolutely disgusting without him. If I can find, let me bring up his stats. Okay, so Paul George this year so far, a 33.4% usage rating, 16 total rebound percentage, 23.8 assist percentage, averaging 1.67 fantasy points per minute, gets an amazing matchup against the Portland Trail Blazers, and is going to play mid to high 30s minutes, assuming this game is competitive. And he's 10.1K. I think just people are going to go away from playing him. I do prefer him to Kevin Durant, and that's probably a hot take, I guess, but man, I can't not play Paul George in many of my lineups today. I absolutely love him. And then Nikola Jokic in a pretty similar spot today with no Jamal Murray. This year, he has a 33.5% usage rating, 22.8 total rebound percentage, 21.4 assist percentage, averaging 1.72 fantasy points per minute. And, that's pretty much in line with what he was doing last year without Jamal Murray on the court. Going to play big minutes, gets a good matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers. A guy like Jared Allen, I think people think that he's good defensively because he gets blocks, but that doesn't necessarily make you a good defender just because you chase blocks like that. He's not a good defender. He's not a plus defender. So I think Jokic is in a great spot. So guys like Giannis, Jokic, Paul George are going to absolutely carry their teams and for the foreseeable future until their teams get healthy. And they're going to play big minutes too. So, and assuming that Vucevic is out, there should be enough value to get there. And even without those Bulls values, I think that there are some viable values. Like Bruce Brown, like I mentioned, Herbert Jones should grab the start in place of Josh Hart. Cody Martin, like I mentioned, 3,900. Nasir Little should start in place of Norman Powell today. He ended up playing, actually I'll just bring it up right here with the Trailblazers. Norman Powell got injured in the first half. Nasir Little ended up starting the second half, played the entire third quarter. Then the game blew out. He came out for a little bit, and then he came back in a little during the blowout. Historically, he's not the best per minute producer, but if he's going to grab the start here and play, around 30 minutes, which is something I think you can expect, he's a very good value at $3,800. And then Precious Achiuwa, I think, is probably my favorite value play at $4,500. Gary Trent Jr. is up there as well. Wow, I was really hoping we would get some news by now, and if you guys are in the Patreon, that will be heavily updated once we get more news. You like Dennis Schroeder. I don't like Schroeder as much as I did yesterday. Dude, we got Schroeder yesterday at very, very low ownership with no Jaylen Brown. It blew my mind. Did not understand that at all. But yeah, Rodney Hood season. So Rodney Hood was active last game, but he did not touch the court. So very weird that he was a DNP. I thought he would be a part of their rotation, especially since they are so short-handed. So yeah, I mean, until we see otherwise, it's hard for me to go there. Oh, and George Hill is $3,500. I'm expecting him to grab the start for Drew Holiday here. And, you know, honestly, he's probably going to play about 30 minutes today. So, you know, not the best per minute producer, but at that price, I mean, George Hill is definitely viable on this slate, assuming that he grabs the start right there, which I think he does. Clicking PG over Giannis just hard for me. Well, yeah, no, I think you play Giannis first and foremost. I'm talking about, I think there's going to end up being so much value. There already is enough value to play 2 or 3 of these guys today. When I'm talking about like the 9.5K and up guys. So I think you play Giannis for sure. And then I think you play at least one of Jokic and Paul George, and you could play both of them. You could also, if you like Durant or Harden, I think they're fine as well. I mean, it's a great matchup against the Wizards. Do you like McDaniels if he starts again and goes to play 27 minutes again? Yeah, he's fine. I'm really not getting there, though. Ingram and Time Lord or PG-13 and Achua 2v2. PG-13 and Achua for sure. Cole Anthony or Caruso on FanDuel, assuming Vooch is out. You know, honestly, just based from ownership, I might go to Caruso. Gary Harris is back, so that's probably going to eat into the backcourt minutes again, and the ownership is just going to be outrageous on Cole Anthony. You know, he had like a career game. You go look at the other games, you know, he didn't even lead the team in usage. It was Jalen Suggs again. Jalen Suggs had such a bad game, and it really fed into Cole Anthony, and now Gary Harris is back, so it probably eats into the minutes a bit more. Nwora or Caruso, it depends on the Vucevic news. As of right now, it's probably Nwora, but if Vucevic is out, it's Caruso. Cole Anthony or Caruso. Oh, I just answered that. Do you like Nasir Little for tonight? Yeah, I think he's a good play. Reddish or Caruso. Now that Gallo is out as well, I'm probably going to lean towards Reddish. Can we still play Rubio? I wouldn't play him at this price, because I'm under the assumption that Garland's going to play now. So I'm not really on him at that price because his minutes are going to be limited to around like 25 minutes. You can definitely make lineups with Paul George, Giannis, and Jokic. I've done it. 5,900 for shooting guard on FanDuel. Thinking Barton or Bledsoe. Yeah, I'd probably go with Barton there. You know, Barton's assist percentage looks to be on the upward trend this year with no Jamal Murray. You know, Monty Morris is starting, and then Composo plays some off the bench. But it looks like Will Barton has the second facilitating role to Nikola Jokic. So I like Will Barton today. I mean, he's going to play like 32, 34 minutes in this game. And yeah, I mean, he's not too bad of a play. I like him more than Eric Bledsoe for sure, because I think Bledsoe's playing a bit over his head currently. 3 studs, 3 Chicago value, and Hill last man in 3.8K guard. You said you had Hill, correct? You could play Bruce Brown there. No Aaron Gordon love. So you should have seen my sheet before I condensed it. There are a lot of options today. You know, guys that like got left off my sheet, like the Minnesota guys. You know, I think they're in a good spot, but you know, I think there's you need to take a stand when there's this many good plays. Is Bruce Brown in play? Yeah, I think Brown is in play. 9.3K seems too cheap for Dame in a competitive game against Clippers D. We just saw Craig go off this spot a couple days ago. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Damian's always in play, but you know, you got to choose your spots. Lillard over Harden. I could see. I mean, honestly, like I would probably do that for ownership reasons for sure. Favorite cast core. Yeah, I mean, it'll come out once we get news on Vucevic. Hopefully, Vucevic starts 30 minutes. after the lock. So I'm assuming we'll get it within like the next 10-15 minutes, but who knows. Patrick Williams, viable. Seems like the minutes are there. Yeah, his minutes are there regardless. And then if Vucevic is out, I think his minutes are even more secure. He probably plays a couple more just because he could likely grab the start at the 5, but he's going to get more burn at the 5. We've seen it in the rotations that they are more than willing to run Patrick Williams at the 5. And this is against a small Toronto team with Precious Williams, or Precious Achua. Jesus, I'm getting all these names messed up. How many bucks is too many? Highest over-under with the late game? I mean, I think you play Giannis. I think you play Middleton and then George Hill. Those are really the 3 guys I'm considering from that team. Thoughts on Ish Smith. So he's been the direct backup to LaMelo Ball. So even with Terry Rozier out, his minutes don't really get an increase. The only reason he got so many minutes last game is because they went on this run with Ish Smith in the backup squad, which allowed him to play extended minutes. So if he's playing the minutes that behind LaMelo Ball, I'm only expecting him to play like 16 to 18 minutes. Favorite value play? Probably Precious Achua. Who should be cores on FanDuel? Probably Giannis, Precious, and Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas is 6,600 on FanDuel. It's hilarious. Thoughts on Saddiq? Yeah, so Saddiq Bey, I mean, he's going to shoot a lot. I mean, he's been shooting a lot already with no Cade Cunningham. And Jeremy Grant was a midday downgrade to questionable. So if Grant misses, we are going to see a lot of shots from Saddiq Bey. He becomes an interesting tournament option, but I'm probably not going there. Do you think Miles Bridges continues his hot start? Well, I'm not going to pay that price tag to find out, even with these other guys, because it doesn't really do anything for him. I think he's already going to be over-owned because of how well he's been shooting. And then now he's going to be even higher owned because people are just under the assumption that since Terry Rozier and PJ Washington are out, that his numbers are drastically going to, or his usage rating is going to go through the roof, which is just not the case. He's the same play. So I'm not really interested in playing him all that much. At that price tag and ownership. Giannis over 28 points tonight. If the game stays competitive, absolutely. Are you on Cam Reddish if he starts? Yeah, I like him a good bit in tournaments. I think he's a really interesting play. Because even when he's playing next to Trae Young, like, he's not afraid to shoot. Like, when he's out there on the court, he's going to shoot. And now with no Hunter, who he's been the direct backup for, and Gallinari continues to be out, he is going to get some good burn tonight. I would feel a lot better if he's starting, but, you know, honestly, if he comes off the bench, he's probably going to continue to... He's probably going to play 28 to 30 minutes anyways. I just wish he was a bit cheaper. Cole Anthony or Caruso if you had to choose... It depends on the news. It's probably Cole Anthony now, though. Zoe, Reggie Barton, Cody PG, Cam Precious, ABC, Joe Val. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, Lonzo Ball on FanDuel is criminally underpriced. Is Herbert Jones worth playing? So, I mean, he has put up 2 very, very underwhelming performances in his spot starts in place of Josh Hart, but he's played 29 minutes in there, so, like, he's going to have the opportunities to pay off that price tag, and he's like $3,300. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's in play for sure. D-Russ interest tonight. Yeah, so D'Angelo Russell actually got like a huge price decrease, and really for no reason. Their games have been going to blowouts, and so he has gotten less minutes. But I wonder how many minutes he's going to play now that Patrick Beverley is back from his 1-game suspension. I kind of worry that D'Angelo Russell's only going to play around 30 minutes a game this year, which is why I'm kind of skeptical on him. But his usage and assist percentage are definitely there, and he's going to be active when he's out on the court. So I think he's viable, but tournaments only. Thoughts on Tyler here. So it looks like Kyle Lowry is going to play in this game. And so I just don't foresee them closing with Tyler Hero over Duncan Robinson when the team is healthy. So I think that he probably only plays like 24 to 26 minutes in this game. And while he could be very, very good, I mean, his usage rate has been like 33% so far this year. With the raising price tag and people are going to be on him, I'm probably avoiding him today, assuming Kyle Lowry is playing. But he is said that he's warming up with intent of playing. Best forward under $4,200. Probably Patrick Williams, assuming Nikola Vucevic is out. Forward for 6K for cash, 6K and under. Let's take a look. Man, that's close. I want to say Scotty Barnes right there at 5,900. Top studs, top values, favorite GB plays. Top studs, Giannis, Jokic, Paul George. Top values, it'd be the Chicago guys. But until we get that news, it's probably like Nasir Little, Cody Martin, George Hill. Thoughts on Terrence Mann for a budget option? I'm not really on Terrence Mann. Is Reggie and PG-13 same line, a bit capping upside? On DraftKings at that price, I think yes. On FanDuel, I think it's more viable because he is so much cheaper. Talking about Reggie Jackson, I probably wouldn't do it on DraftKings. I was gonna consider Reggie Jackson on DraftKings, but that price tag is wild to me. But the minutes are obviously there. I mean, he's playing 36, 39 minutes a game. You know, problem, Matt. PG, Giannis, Tatum, choose 2 for DK. Giannis and PG for sure. Tatum is not nearly as good of a play as he has been without Jaylen Brown. So I'm not on Tatum nearly as much. Cole Anthony or Caruso? It's going to be Cole Anthony for me. PG, LaMelo Ball and Giannis or Durant and Paul George? Oh, man. It's Durant and Paul George there. Scotty Barnes and Miles Bridges or Tatum and Franz Wagner for cash? Scotty Barnes. Oh, man. Yeah, Scotty Barnes in Bridges. Yo, if you guys are new here, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I am here every single day, an hour before lock. I also put out my primer video every single morning. If you guys watch the primer video and then watch this, you're going to be in a good spot. If you guys want to join my free Discord, it is linked down below in the description. Giannis or KD, FanDuel GPP. Giannis for sure. Not on Neto. Shooting guard for $4,500. Man, I think you're like 100 all. I think 100 off of Gary Trent Jr. Yeah. And then you're 200 off Cam Reddish. Man, if you could find $100 or $200, that would be ideal. I mean, you're just like running real thin right here. I'd probably just reconstruct because a 4,500 shooting guard is looking tough. Unless you're talking about FanDuel. Because if you're talking about FanDuel, you could play Cody Martin there at 4,400. PG and Trez or Jokic and Gary Trent. I'm probably inside with the Jokic side. Why Hill? So George Hill should grab the start here in place of Drew Holiday. And they're already thin in the backcourt as it is. So I'm expecting George Hill to get the start and play around 30 minutes. And no problem, Isaiah. LaMelo or Brogdon, DK. Yeah, it's going to be Brogdon for me. I mean, realistically, Brogdon probably continues to play like 6-8 more minutes than LaMelo. So guard is tough to decide. Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, you just really need to decide where you're going to go roster construction wise, because it becomes easier if you know what you're doing construction wise. Because if you're playing 3 studs, I mean, you just play like George Hill and Cody Martin. How much Caruso? Much like 30%. I mean, if Vucevic is out, I like having a lot of Caruso. I want to be over the field. Wendell Carter or Miles Turner? Going to be Wendell Carter for me. Elias Johnson. I mean, if Vucevic is out, I don't expect Elias Johnson to grab the start, but I think he does get some backup burn, and he is a very, very good permanent producer. So if he can play 18 to 20 minutes off the bench at minimum price, he can definitely pay it off. Time Lord, a must play. Not a must play, but a very, very good play. Much better player when he's playing out there without Al Horford on the court. You think Brissett gets much playing time? No. So Brissett got a lot of run last game because Miles Turner was in severe foul trouble and actually ended up fouling out. So, yeah, I would not chase O'Shea Brissett. So you think I can win a GP with nobody over $7,900? I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think your ceiling is probably higher with having all those mid-range guys. But yeah, okay, so the Hornets are starting LaMelo Ball, Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, and Mason Plumlee. Graham have enough upside for DK GPP. I mean, his minutes are much more secure, and I think his role on this team is a lot different than it was in Charlotte. Much more of a ball-handling guard as opposed to being a spot-up shooter. So I think over the course of the year, he will get better fantasy-wise, and if he's going to continue to play this many minutes, which he will, yeah, I don't mind him at all. He definitely has tournament upside at the low 5K range. Kelly Oubre starting, yep. Kelly Oubre is a pretty solid play. I actually took his over on PrizePicks. Yeah, if you guys are... Let me refresh the board because I already hit the over on his fantasy points, 27. If it's still there, I still like it. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you guys a play right now. I like the Mason Plumlee over 28.5 fantasy points over here because... Did we... Okay, Vucevic is out. Okay, or Vucevic is in. Sorry, Jeremy Grant is out. Oh, I haven't heard anything about Grant. Somebody, wait, where'd you see that, Stout? Okay, so we got to make some changes. Okay, yeah, Jeremy Grant is out. So we could actually slam some plays right now on PrizePicks before the lines start moving. We can hit the over on Saddiq Bey. Yeah, Saddiq Bey is only at 30 points. So if you guys want to tail me on this, I'm going with the Kelly Oubre over 27 fantasy points, Mason Plumlee over 28.5, and then Saddiq Bey over 30 fantasy points. I mean, you could play flex play if that's how you roll, or you could play power play like a man. Kyle Lowry is available to play officially, so I am personally out on Tyler Hero. Hey, what's up, Blaze? Yo, probably Giannis, Precious Achua, and Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, Vooch is in, so we got to make some changes. Got to make some changes to the Patreon stuff, guys. Actually, I think the FanDuel lineup remains the same. I'm still fine with Lonzo at that price. Okay. Favorite GPP stack on DK? I don't really game stack all that much in NBA. Yeah, no, not really. Yeah, Kelly O, I think could actually get some additional burn as well. The over on PrizePicks is definitely in play. Kelly's just... Josh Hart ruled out, so we are going to see Herbert Jones grab the start again, and man, if he's playing around 30 minutes, he's definitely viable right there. Stout wouldn't troll at all, so if he's actually out, then I believe him. Stout is no troll. Let me find this news on Vooch. Where did you see that, Stout? If you want to send me it on Discord. Yeah, so Lyles has been the direct backup for Jeremy Grant. Bay a log. He's not a log, but he's a good play though. I don't think Stout would actually troll. He maybe he's mistaken, but I don't think he'd be trolling, to be honest.
Would it be funny if this night was the last time we ever talked to each other?
DK Live says Vooch is out. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, I see it on Fantasy Labs that he's in. Okay, let me check the Discord, bro. They deleted the tweet? Okay, cool. Alright. So let me change the sheet on DraftKings. Yeah, I am no longer on... No longer am I on Patrick Williams and Alex Caruso. I think Patrick Williams is still a fine play, but... Yeah, Jeremy Grant's definitely out, so... Oh, Lineker, Plumlee for sure. Then Elias Johnson is no longer in play. Nah, you're good. Yeah, I know you were not trolling. I'm going to give out a pretty big core on Patreon since you guys had to wait so long for this news. Lineker, a lock? No, not at all. Nikel's still a play at 6 a.m. I'm assuming. Yeah, FanDuel, he's a very good play, yeah. Grant being out helps Stewart. I don't think it really... I mean, Stewart's really never a guy to get much usage, so I don't think Grant being out really improves his likelihood. I think Trey Lyles gets some extra run. Lyles might actually start. If we see that Kelly Olynyk starts, then I would like him quite a bit. But yeah, Trey Lyles actually becomes a pretty good play at $3,600. How much we bumping Kelly O? Just slightly. You know, he hasn't been playing. He's been playing just behind Isaiah Stewart. He really hasn't been playing next to him. So, unless they switch things up, which they definitely could, I don't think he's the best play. More of a bump to Sadiq Bey and Trey Lyles than anything. Josh Jackson about to start. That'd be kind of sick. How much is he? 4,600? Yeah. Yeah, George Hill, I think I'm changing George Hill to an A tier play. Yeah, the list is getting shorter for Patreon. Trent or Herder on DK, gonna be Trent for me. Is Josh Jackson a play now? Or in play now? Not really. I prefer Trey Lyles, John, but... Just waiting on this damn Garland news. So, it looked like he went through shoot-around with intent to play. So, I'm, like, off Rubio on DraftKings and FanDuel. At that price. Favorite point guard play on FanDuel? Either Reggie Jackson or Lonzo Ball for their prices. If you guys are playing FanDuel on Patreon, the lineup is not moving. Pacers are starting Brogdon, Duarte, Holiday, Sabonis, Turner on... Okay. As expected. Patreon is $25 a month. Do you like Chris Duarte at his price? On DraftKings, yes. I think that is a insane price tag for him, considering he's going to continue to play mid-30s minutes. And also Reddish or Trent. That's tough. I'm probably going to go with Trent just because I can trust the minutes more. But, dude, Reddish has a lot higher upside, like way higher upside. Who are your favorite guards on DK? I like George Hill, value-wise. Yeah, I mean, guards are pretty tough today. Him and Duarte. I'm not on the Bulls anymore, really, at all, with everybody healthy. Thoughts on Batum again for 4K? Nah, I'm not on him. I'd honestly rather have Patrick Williams for 3,900. Reddish or Connaughton, DK Cash, Reddish for sure. Reddish or Cole, Fanduel GPP, Reddish for sure in GPP. Cole's gonna be like crazy high owned. Best cheap center. There was a cheap center that I liked. Yeah, Precious. Thoughts on Schroeder? Yeah, I mean, Schroeder's not as good of a play as he was yesterday with no Jaylen Brown. But with him being back in the starting lineup and Al Horford coming off the bench, Al Horford being out, I think Dennis Schroeder gets a bump, but not as big of a bump as it was yesterday. So no Lonzo Ball on FanDuel anymore. No, I'm still running Lonzo on FanDuel. Draftkings at his price. I can't. He's only 6,200 on FanDuel, so he's a good play regardless. No, I'm not on Miles Bridges. Okay, I need to update this. Little or Herbert on DK? Gonna be Little for me. Precious or go up and get Williams for 3K more. I'd probably stay down with Precious. Are you on Dinwiddie? No, not with Beal back. And his price increase. Thoughts on Bledsoe FanDuel? No, I think he's been playing a bit over his head. I think more times than not, Reggie Jackson's going to be the better play there. Should I take Bay at 32.5? That moved a lot, huh? I think somebody at Prize Picks may or may not be watching. But I do like the over slightly still. I liked it a lot more at 30. Olynyk or lock on FanDuel? No. Joval with Hart out. I like Joval a ton regardless, but yeah, Hart is out. Dinwiddie or OG on FanDuel? OG. Okay, yeah, I gotta update this shit right now. I wouldn't leave any money on the table today on DraftKings, to be honest. Duarte or Graham? Gonna be Duarte for me. Lyles or Nasir? Nasir. Is Thanasis starting? Oh, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, they've been playing Giannis at the 5 with no Brook Lopez, so that makes sense. I'm not messing with Simmons at all on DK now because he only plays behind CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. He doesn't really play next to them, so Norman Powell being out doesn't really give him any more minutes. Caruso's still in play. No, not as much. I mean, You know, I still think that he's too cheap at, like, given his secure role in that 26 to 28 minute range, but not nearly as good of a play as he would have been. I'm updating the sheet right now, guys. I'm uploading the image right now. George Hill starting. Yeah, I think you probably play Hill. George Hill, Allen, Middleton, Giannis, and Thanasis. You know, Thanasis is actually in play too. Jokic, Reggie, or PG-13 and D'Lo? Probably the Jokic side. Every time I play him, he gets me 3 fantasy points. Okay, the sheet is updated. Okay. Why off Olynyk? I don't think Olynyk really gains that unless something changes. Unless Olynyk gets the start here, I'm not really expecting him to play very many additional minutes just because Jeremy Grant is out, because he's been playing strictly center this year and hasn't been playing the 4. Duarte and MPJ are Reddish and Nah. Duarte, MPJ, Thanasis and Cash. I think Thanasis is fine. Nwora, Thanasis. If I have the money, Nwora. Wagner or Little, going with Wagner there. Thanasis or Patrick Williams. FanDuel had Williams. Did I pivot or keep? I keep Patrick Williams here. Any Grant Williams love tonight? Dude, Grant Williams has been shooting 69% from 3. Like, it's wild. I mean, he's probably going to play, like, into the 20s, but I can't trust him. Thanasis and Reddish or Lyles and Trent? Thanasis and Reddish. You like Scotty Barnes and Precious on DK? Yeah, I like both of them a lot. I think Caruso is still a fine play, but, like, the thought was if Vucevic was out, Patrick Williams would play more at the 5, and so we'd probably see Caruso and Patrick Williams close the game out. But Vucevic is active now, so Hill, Brogdon, Nickel, Middleton, Batum, Wagner, Giannis, Williams, Jonas. Yeah, I like that. I like it. Is 3 Raptors okay? Yeah, I always think 3 Raptors is okay. The minutes are just so secure. It's like DK isn't changing their prices. Yeah. Yeah, so DK Nation really did tweet that out. That's kind of wild. Okay, Giannis or Jokic? Giannis for sure. Making any changes to the FanDuel lineup? No. I really wasn't Chicago heavy over there. I only had Lonzo just because of the price. So he's still a great play with or without Vucevic. Any love for Claxton on FanDuel? No, not really. It was pretty discouraging from his minutes last time out since we saw that Blake Griffin was out and LaMarcus Aldridge was in. So we get a pretty similar spot here with Aldridge in and Aldridge out and Griffin in, and he only played like 18 minutes. So I don't think he gets crazy run here. Scared about Denver blowout at all? No, not really. I don't think this Denver team is actually very good without Jamal Murray. And like I never really worry about blowouts. If I lose because of a blowout, so be it. Grant Williams or Lyles? It's going to be Lyles for me. I'm assuming Lyles will get the start here. Any love for MPJ? I think MPJ is a fine play. I prefer Robert Williams to him at a similar price. And then, Michael Porter is going to be very popular today, so you could pivot directly off of him onto OG Anunoby. I think that is pretty sharp. There is no FanDuel update. Robert Williams ceiling game today. I mean, if he has a ceiling game that's any higher than what he just had, it is going to be pretty crazy. Game 1 of the season. I mean, he played 45 minutes in a double OT game. But not playing next to Al Horford is really, really good for him. Go back to last year. He averaged 1.27 fantasy points per minute over the course of the entire season. So, like, he's a very, very good per minute producer. He just kind of sucks when Al Horford is also out there. Okay, they're still a good team. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're just not nearly as good without Jamal Murray. Rubio probably starting. It's hard to say. I think Darius Garland actually ends up playing today because he ended up going through shoot around, and Bigger Staff was saying that he could play tonight. So I'm leaning towards it's more on the probable side than questionable. And so I'm not playing Rubio. Lyles or Thanasis? Probably. Oh man, that's close. Probably Thanasis. Who would you start between Barton, Duarte, or Redis? Duarte for me. Barton and Duarte very close. Lyles and Na or Cody Martin, MPJ. Cody Martin in MPJ, yeah. Why is MPJ popular? I think he's just given his price. Bam worth the price on FanDuel. He is very affordable over there, and you do get 3 points for stocks, and so that's obviously the good part about him. But with Kyle Lowry being back, it kind of takes away from his assist opportunities. I still think he's fine on FanDuel. Wouldn't touch him on Draftkings, but FanDuel, I think he's a lot better than he is on DK. Nasir Little or Nwora on DK utility. Probably going to take Little there. I think his minutes are a lot more secure. Hill, Duarte, George, Giannis, Williams, Reddish, Olynyk, Achua. Yeah, I don't mind that. Is that Grant Williams? Lyles and Trent or Caruso and Little? Lyles and Trent. McDaniels or Thanasis? Thanasis. Nah, trust me. And I'm a big Jokic fan, so. Best utility under $9,400. Probably going to be Dame there. Yeah, Dame at 93. Duarte or Trent? Duarte for sure. Alexander Walker or Hero? Alexander Walker for sure with Kyle Lowry playing. Nas should play like 35 minutes for the foreseeable future, at least until Zion Williamson returns. I actually think with Lowry healthy, that Tyler Hero probably only plays 24, 26 minutes. So we could see like 10 more minutes out of Nickeil Alexander Walker than Tyler Hero. MPJ or OG. You know, personally, I'm going to take OG right there. I think his role on this offense is pretty crazy. Once he doesn't get into foul trouble and hits his shots, I mean, he's going to score like 50 fantasy points. So, best utility on DK 3.8K and less. I had Simmons, but now you got me thinking no. Let's take a look. So when you think about the Simmons play, it's just like, do you think he's ever going to be out there on the court next to Lillard and McCollum at the same time? It's just like not going to happen. And Powell being out doesn't really give him a boost in minutes. But 3.8K, yeah, it's probably Nasir Little. Ish or Cody Martin? Cody Martin for sure. Hill, Giannis, George, Jokic, Bruce Brown, Achua, Little, and Murphy. Man, Murphy is stretching it. That's real thin, but you did fit in Giannis, Jokic, and George, so I don't mind it. Do you like Sexton? I like that his price has come down so much, but no, I'm not really on him today. He's too scoring dependent for me. Herbert Jones or Nwora on DK? Going to be Nwora. If you have the money, I mean, you can take the savings with Herbert Jones, but Nwora or Nasir? I'm going to go with Nasir there just for the minute security. Lyles or Little? Little. Thoughts on Wagner FanDuel? Yeah, he's a great... I mean, he's too cheap. Even with Gary Harris back, he's too cheap. Hill, Brown, PG, Giannis, Grant Williams, Martin, Jokic. I'm not on Grant, but... I mean, Grant's still a fine play. But I like the rest of it. It's pretty volatile, though, playing Bruce Brown. Mobley worth it today? I mean, he's as safe as they come considering his minutes. And, you know, he's shown to be a good permanent producer going back to the Summer League preseason, the few games he's played already. He's just so expensive now that it's hard for me to get there, but still fine. Brogdon or LaMelo? Brogdon for me. Thanasis or Little? Going to be Little. $5,700 shooting guard's going to be Chris Duarte for me. PG in a utility for $3,100 or Dame and Little? Who is $3,100? What do you say? Utility? Is there somebody here? Yeah, I'd go with the Dame side. Yeah. Well, actually, man, I might go Murphy and George. I just like George so much. Reddish or Cole Anthony? Cole Anthony. In cash. Reddish, I think, is a lot better tournament play, though, because he's going to be way lower owned. Duarte or Markin and Duarte. Brogdon, Martin, Middleton, Ingram, Joe Val, Hill, Little, D'Lo, GPP. I like it. Forward 3,400 or lower. Let me take a look. It'd be Thanasis at 3,400. Yeah, it is pretty gross. We got 30 seconds to lock, guys. Make sure to get your questions in. Yo, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That is the #1 way of supporting me. And again, guys, with the Prize Picks stuff, you want to hit this stuff as soon as you possibly can when news breaks, because the lines will move quickly, but you can definitely beat the odds makers before they change it. Oh, they added free throws made back. Man, so one of the things I was thinking about doing is just hitting a bunch of these under props on free throws made, because this year has been the lowest start of free throw attempts per game ever in the history. Like, the rule change is definitely working, especially for a guy like James Harden. Like, man, like, how many free throw attempts has he even attempted so far this year? Like, he's not getting anything. Look, he's attempted 4 and 1 free throw attempts, and his prop is at 5.5 made. I actually might hit some of these with you right now. Trae Young's a similar guy who he always tries to get free throws like that. He's attempted 5 and 7. That game, I guess, could blow out, and so I kind of like the under on that too. Oh, Bruce Brown in the starting lineup. Yeah, Bruce Brown is one of the better value plays now. I think they just didn't like him for a couple of games or something. Like something was up with it, but Bruce Brown looks like he's back. Yeah, I like Bruce Brown a lot. Bruce Brown is one of my favorite value plays now. Same starting lineup for the Magic. Yeah, it made it with Bruce Brown starting now. It really makes it easy to play all 3 studs today. Like very, very easy. Like Jokic, Giannis, and George. Oh, I thought something just moved. Bruce over Little. I probably for the savings, yeah, probably. But man, like if you still have flexibility in your lineup, I would most definitely play the under. All right, I would definitely play 3 studs like George, Jokic, and Giannis. Brown or Lyles, DK Cash Brown. Trae Young, Beal, or Lillard. I'm probably going with Beal there. Yeah, so if you guys want to tail this, I think I'm going to go the under Trae Young free throws and under James Harden free throws. That feels pretty good. There's just literally no free throw attempts nowadays with all these, all the news. Got Lamella 18%. Yeah, that is pretty annoying that they waited that long to do that. How many free throw attempts has Durant gotten in these games? Bulls with the starting lineup of Lonzo Ball, Levine, DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic. KD and Bruce over D'Lo, OG. Yeah, I probably side with the KD thing there because Bruce Brown is also in like a very good spot against Washington. Yeah, no update to FanDuel. I'm all over the FanDuel lineup. Yeah, so I think the best values ended up being George Hill, Bruce Brown, and Nasir Little. Those are the 3 best values. Cole or MPJ? MPJ for sure. Is Brown going to get minutes? Yeah, so it was just like kind of weird. He was just out of the rotation the first 2 games. Then last game, he came off the bench and played 27 minutes, and now he's back in the starting lineup. So I think his minutes are definitely secure now. Like, I feel confident about it. Lyles and Durant or Brown and PG-13? I'd probably take Brown and PG-13. Brown or Wagner? Wagner. Bruce Brown and 4,300 utility or Reddish and Murphy? Probably Brown and the 4,300 utility. Kuzma worth it on FanDuel? I don't think so at that price. Or at with Bradley Beal healthy. Yeah, because I can't show my own lineup. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to head out. We shouldn't get really any more news. I guess the only thing that we're waiting on, I guess, is Darius Garland news. But, I mean, I'd even leave flexibility to have that available. Wait, before I leave, what did you guys end up playing? Did you guys play 2 studs tonight? Did you guys play 3, 1, 0? Batum or Lyles? Probably Lyles. Suggs or Reddish? Reddish. Lyles still GPP? Yes. Lyles or Jang? Lyles for sure. Okay, guys. I am going to head out. If you guys enjoyed the stream, if you had any value from this, would really appreciate a like, a subscribe. Best of luck tonight. I will see you guys in the AM, as well as an hour before lock tomorrow. Appreciate you guys being here. See you guys at the top.